Picture a country with no airport, no traffic lights, and no cars. A country where cash barely matters, where a random internet address once made it wealthy, and where climate scientists say the ocean itself might erase it from the map within our lifetime. Only 1,500 people call this place home. And to reach them, you have to cross one of the most unforgiving stretches of ocean on Earth. This is Tokelau, and almost nobody outside the Pacific has ever heard its name. Tokelau sits deep in the South Pacific, roughly 500 kilometers from Apia, the capital of nearby Samoa. It's a non-self-governing territory of New Zealand, yet New Zealand itself sits more than 3,000 kilometers away. And here's the twist. Tokelau isn't one island. It's 3 tiny coral atolls, Atafu, Nukunonu, and Whakaofo, scattered across open ocean like turquoise rings. Their combined land area is barely 12 square kilometers, smaller than a major airport. But the ocean territory surrounding them stretches over 300,000 square kilometers. In Tokelau, the sea isn't just scenery. It is, by far, the largest part of the country. The highest point on any of these atolls rises less than 5 meters above sea level. That single fact shapes almost everything here. The crops, the housing, the future. The land is coral and sand, built up slowly over thousands of years, so thin that it can barely hold fresh water. Coconut palms lean permanently sideways from the wind. Pandanus trees grip the coral soil. Beneath the surface, though, is where Tokelau becomes extraordinary. Coral reefs teem with parrotfish, angelfish, and green sea turtles, while pods of spinner dolphins surface just offshore. And in 2011, Tokelau made a decision very few small nations were willing to make. It banned all commercial shark fishing across its entire ocean territory, turning it into one of the region's most important shark sanctuaries. Even though shark fins could have brought real income. Now here's something almost no one expects. In December 2011, the government of Tokelau simply erased a day from the calendar. Because the island sat on the wrong side of the international date line, they were nearly a full day behind their main trading partners, New Zealand and Australia. So the Tokelau General Fono, the territory's governing council, voted to skip December 30th entirely, jumping straight from the 29th to the 31st. Overnight, Tokelau went from being one of the last places on Earth to see a sunrise to being one of the first. The 3 atolls each have their own personality. Atafu, home to around 600 people, is known for its deep-sea fishermen, who head out before sunrise almost every day. Nukunonu is quieter, shaped more by church bells than by fishing schedules. And Whakaofo carries the historical weight of the territory, once the seat of the highest traditional authority. At the heart of every atoll sits the Whale Fono, a communal meeting house where village elders gather to settle disputes and make decisions by consensus rather than majority vote. Daily life here runs on a rhythm most of the world has forgotten. Mornings begin with the sound of waves on the reef, not alarm clocks. Men fish before dawn. Women tend small gardens and weave mats and baskets from pandanus leaves. Meals center on tuna, reef fish, coconut, and pulaka, a type of taro grown in specially dug pits that has fed these atolls for centuries. On special occasions, the community builds an umu, a traditional earth oven where fish and root vegetables wrapped in banana leaves are cooked slowly under heated stones and buried soil. But the tradition that says the most about Tokelau is called inati. After a big fishing trip or harvest, nothing is kept by individual families. Everything gets pooled together, then divided according to household size, with elderly residents and struggling families given priority. A catch here is only considered successful once the whole community has received its share. It's a system built on the idea that no single person does better than the group. Isolation shapes practical life too. Each atoll has its own small school and basic medical center, but anyone needing surgery or serious treatment must be evacuated by boat to Samoa or New Zealand, a trip entirely dependent on weather. There's barely a formal labor market. Most people take on multiple roles, fishing one day and doing public service work the next. Most stable jobs come from teaching, healthcare, or maintaining the territory's basic infrastructure. Yet, against every odd, Tokelau accomplished something most wealthy nations still haven't. In 2012, it became the first country in the world to generate essentially all of its electricity from solar power. Before that, each atoll burned diesel around the clock, costing the territory nearly $800,000 a year and still only providing electricity for 15 to 18 hours a day. Funded by New Zealand and international partners, engineers installed over 4,000 solar panels and more than 1,000 batteries across the 3 atolls. The new system now produces well over what the islands actually need. It was and remains one of the largest off-grid solar installations on Earth, built by a nation with barely 1,500 residents. There's another surprising source of income here too. For years, Tokelau earned real revenue by licensing its internet domain, .tk, which became one of the most widely registered country code domains in the world. Combine that with fees paid by foreign fishing fleets for licensed access to Tokelau's waters, and you get an economy that runs almost entirely without tourism, industry, or valuable exports, something researchers still study as a rare model of small nation self-sufficiency. Still, Tokelau faces a threat that money and solar panels can't fully solve. According to international climate monitoring bodies, sea levels in the southwestern Pacific are rising significantly faster than the global average. Salt water is already seeping into Palaka pits. Beaches are shrinking year by year. For the people here, climate change isn't a future prediction. It's something they measure by how much closer the waves have crept to their homes since childhood. And yet, each morning, the people of Atafu, Nukunonu, and Whakaofo still wake before sunrise. They prepare their boats. They send their children to school. They carry forward a way of life their ancestors have protected for over 1,000 years, on 3 tiny strips of coral in the middle of the largest ocean on Earth. If a nation of 1,500 people can solve problems the rest of the world is still debating, what does that tell us about what's actually possible? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if remote places like this fascinate you, subscribe, because there are more hidden corners of the world still waiting to be explored.